Welcome back to the channel, Harry Potter lovers. My name is Tyler Babb, and today I wanted to go over my top 10 things that I am so excited to see in the new Harry Potter HBO Max series. The Philosopher's Stone is coming out this Christmas, and I thought this would be a fun time to kind of just list off a few things that I cannot wait to see. So without further ado, let's start with number one. My number one thing that I cannot wait to see would be Lily and James. I think because we're able to get 8 hours of footage here and 8 hours of story, we're going to be able to expand the world. I really do feel like in order to feel the loss of Harry's parents, we're going to need to see flashbacks of their time at Godric's Hollow. In later seasons, we're going to probably see them with Sirius and Lupin and Pettigrew, and it's all going to make it mean so much more. A part of me really feels like the series will open on James and Lily, and we'll be able to see them living their lives with baby Harry, and then ultimately running from Voldemort, and possibly we will see them die at the beginning of the series. Now, I don't know how much screen time they will actually have in the series as a whole, but to give them a healthy amount of screen time in the first season will really set up Harry as an orphan and somebody who misses his family, right? And the things that the movies weren't able to do is give us his parents' backstory and show them as people, right? It's going to be interesting to see from a production standpoint how they're going to tackle filming all of these things, specifically with Voldemort and Tom Riddle. Like, you need to kind of film those things pretty early on, especially if you're going to cast a Tom Riddle for the second one and go into, the Half-Blood Prince. There's a lot of things that you have to kind of know about and film ahead of time, I think. But that is my number one. Number two on the list, obviously, is the amazing Quidditch scenes that are possible, and more Quidditch than ever before. I think we're going to be able to get every single match that's in the books, which is really cool. But obviously the new technology that they have out there today, these interesting looking brooms that they have shown us in the behind the scenes images and in the trailers. It'll be interesting to see all the fantastic, crazy looking brooms. Maybe the brooms have special abilities that we don't know about. Maybe there are things that these brooms can do, right? Because if you're the HBO Max series, you're going to want to be able to be true to the books, but be able to set yourself apart from the movies. And I think there's a very good chance here that we're going to see some very interesting broom mechanics and broom riding, right? And how are you going to do that? And it looks like the majority of them don't have feet rests. So, how are there going to be seats on the brooms? What exactly do the brooms look like? And the Quidditch, this is HBO Max, obviously. We are no longer beholden to the PG or PG-13 rating. So things are going to get pretty dark, and I think things are going to get not necessarily violent, but I think when people get hurt in the series, they are going to get hurt, right? I really hope that they do not shy away from certain things, especially the battle at the Ministry with the prophecy. I do not want them to shy away from the brutality of a bunch of Death Eaters beating on children, because it heightens the stakes for our characters, right? It makes you really worry for these characters. Number 4 is the take that John Lithgow is going to do as Dumbledore. For all of the characters, right, they are going to be playing the characters longer in terms of screen time, longer than the movie characters. But Dumbledore is the thing that I'm most excited for, because Dumbledore has probably one of the most complex pasts and storylines in the book, right? He's a very divisive character. You can love him and you can hate him, depending on what side of the aisle you fall on there, because he does some shady stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what John Lithgow brings to the character. You can tell in his interviews and Finding Harry that he really cares. It sounds like he's really fired up. It sounds like he's really excited to be there. It sounds like everybody's excited to be there. And it'll just be very cool to see the depth that he will be able to bring to this character. Number 4 on this list is the celebration of Voldemort's downfall. Now, we know because we've seen behind the scenes photos that we are going to get a glimpse into the fall of Voldemort in terms of the celebration and the wizards all around the world, right? Just having, fireworks and shooting stars and people having parties and just like the massive celebration. And I'm pretty sure that is going to play into the opening of the Philosopher's Stone. Whether it's going to be the opening scene or not, I do feel like we're going to get some Lily and James stuff, but it may open with a celebration. Because if you think about it, do you open with the celebration or do you open with Lily and James? And you could really go either way, but I do like the idea of opening with the celebration because that gives you a sense of mystery, right? It kind of opens it on a bang. It opens the series on kind of this memorable moment, right? People are celebrating and cheering. And just like the book did, right? If you really want to be faithful to the book, then you would open it the same way that the book did, right? Where we didn't know everything, right? And then as you go along in the series, especially if you're new to Harry Potter and you don't know, because there are going to be people that are new to this, you don't want to spoil anything too much, and that's something that the series has to do. You don't want to spoil things because you have new viewers. So, but if you open up with the celebration, that's really great because that gives you the mystery, whereas then you can save the Lily and James flashbacks to when Hagrid is talking to Harry about his parents. Number 5 on this list is the Dumbledore side quests. I do feel like we are going to be getting Dumbledore doing behind the scenes shenanigans, if you would take that as a term to use here. We already have seen some behind the scenes photos of Dumbledore talking to Nicholas Flamel, so we do know that we are going to see the adventures of Dumbledore, which is probably going to be a B plot, but this is exactly what I said in my last point was you got to be very careful because you don't want to spoil anything. And I feel that's kind of maybe a concern that I have is you could very easily run into some spoilers very quickly if you reveal too much. Specifically, like with us, as if you know Harry Potter, then it's not really a big deal. But again, new viewers, new children, they don't know the story. Maybe they don't know the story, right? So you just want to be very careful. But I'm very excited to see him go to Gringotts and him start to kind of put the pieces together, and maybe he can talk to Snape in different ways, or we can kind of deepen that, like the relationship with him and Snape, obviously building up to the potential, the inevitable 6th one, that will, we know what happens there. So it would just be very cool to, again, you'll be able to deepen the relationship between him and Snape, I think, too, which will be very cool. Number 6 would be that Ron is going to be book accurate Ron. We know from the movies that Hermione was given a lot of Ron's lines. Ron is the veteran in this world, right? Ron needs to know things. Ron is not just comedic humor, right? Yes, Hermione is smart. Yes, we all love Hermione, but there are times when she doesn't know things and Ron answers or Harry answers, right? We all know this. Number 7 is the chess set. I'm super excited to see what they do with the chess set. I think it's one of my favorite parts of the first movie, and I cannot wait to see the practical set that they use. Now, are we ever going to see that? What are we going to see in the trailer? That's the other thing too. How much are they going to show us in the first official trailer? We have a lot in the teaser, and I'm sure we'll get another behind the scenes video as Christmas approaches, right? Probably for Back to Hogwarts Day, we might get a trailer there, I'm assuming. September 1st, that seems like the perfect time to drop a trailer. And are they going to show us the troll in the bathroom, right? That's not really a spoiler, but that would be fun to see. Will we see Quidditch? Are you going to show us Quidditch? I'm not quite sure. You know, how are you going to do Fluffy? Is Fluffy going to be a full animatronic dog? That would be amazing. There are so many wonderful secrets that they have up their sleeve. And like I said, the chess set is going to be probably my favorite set and my favorite sequence in the entire season. So I'm very excited. Number 8 is the performance of Dominic McLaughlin, Arabella Stanton, and Alistair Stout. These three look great individually, and I cannot wait to see them share a scene. I'm so excited to see how these characters and just the brand new life that they're able to bring. I think I've said this before in other videos, I will say it again. I think where these child actors are right now are leaps and bounds ahead of where Dan, Rupert, and Emma were when they were child actors. And again, I think that just goes with time. The idea of a child actor has evolved over the last 25 years. Child actors are a little bit more seasoned now. I don't know how to I don't know how to describe it, but I guess that's the best way I could convey it. But a lot of people in this new cast may have never even seen Harry Potter, right? A lot of these kids were born in like 2013, so that was a couple years after the movies finished being made. They are pretty well removed, so I think we're gonna get stellar performances. Number 9 is the wand combat. This is crazy because there's so much stuff you can do with the wands. You know, a lot of it was like point and shoot, but I think what's gonna be great is we're gonna be able to see different wand combat, and the door is wide open for interpretation on exactly what that looks like. You know, what are the different ways that you can fire a spell with a wand? I know in the movies it was a lot of just like light, like flashy, you know, molten lava light and like sparks and stuff that were coming out of the wands. But I wonder what the series has planned, especially since, you know, a lot of Hogwarts is going to be rooted in nature. So what does that do to the spells? What does that do to the casting of these, you know, these curses? What do the curses look like, right? The physicality of what it does to the person, what it does to the wand holder, what it does to the wand itself. Does the wand light up? Does the wand, you know, can you grow your wand? Not necessarily grow your wand, but does the spell kind of naturally, like roots? Does it grow out and then do, you know, or who knows, right? I'm just coming up with a bunch of different ideas, but I just think look out for the wand combat here because it's going to be pretty awesome. And last but not least, at number 10, it's the score from Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer is one of the greatest composers working today, and he's a very interesting choice, but he's a very specific choice that shows you that this is going to be a darker take on the whole franchise, because his stuff is darker, just in tone, across the board. He's going to give you the sense of magic, but the sense of danger. I feel with his music, he'll be able to infuse the darkness, and you'll be able to feel Voldemort's presence through the music in every season. And it's just going to grow closer and closer and closer as we get to Goblet of Fire. And then can you imagine how amazing the score is going to be when we finally get to the Triwizard Tournament? I am so excited for Goblet of Fire to see what his music sounds like through that entire season, because he's going to go off. I'm so excited. And he's probably going to win 1 million awards for making the score for this show. And I can't wait to buy the soundtracks and get them on vinyl and listen to them over and over and over again, just like I did John Williams. Well, all in all, guys, those are a few things that I am looking forward to for the new Harry Potter HBO Max series. This is my most anticipated thing ever in life. And the fact that it is a show and I can relive the magic of Harry Potter again for another decade just gets me so effing excited. and I just think it makes the world better. I have high hopes for this, and I think with it being HBO Max, they're going to knock it out of the park. If you enjoyed this little top 10 of the Harry Potter series, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a like. I greatly appreciate it. And let me know in the comments down below, what are you most looking forward to? I greatly appreciate all the support you guys have been showing me. Yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.